everyone for being here. Thanks to Mike and Angela for putting this thing together. I know a lot of work has gone into this in a very short amount of time, and it's good to see the community back in here together. The last time we were here to oppose a low-income housing tax project. It was a little bit further up Northshore toward between Choto and Concord. This time, you guys just can't catch a break. It's another rezoning. This time, it's a corner of Harvey and Northshore. And this one's 42 acres up to potentially 5 dwelling units an acre, and that could mean more than 200 new homes and more traffic. And you're right, Melissa, 210 homes is going to be over 2,000 new cars per day on Northshore Drive. And you know, even though it's on the other side of Choto, there's no question that these cars are going to come through Choto. They're going to bypass the chance to go under the railroad track. They're going to come right down Northshore past Montgomery Cove, past Jefferson Park, and try to get to Kingston Pike at Concord. And that's just the reality of the situation. And so this proposal has sparked significant concern in your community. It was mentioned earlier that there were over 560 some odd comments on the Planning Commission webpage that were opposed to this project. Those comments have been shut down. Your comments now need to go to the County Commission and to the Mayor's office. They are elected by you to test the wind. The courts say they can test the wind and do exactly what their constituents want. So if you make your voice heard, the County Commissioner, your Mayor, they can do what you ask them to do in this situation. The opposition is for good reason. Northshore Drive is a dangerous road. I don't think that's any secret. And I'm gonna look down at my paper for a minute. I'm holding up here a letter that Commissioner Larson J. wrote to the Mayor in September 1 of 2023, just a short time ago. And about halfway through the first page here, he cites some statistics, and the numbers don't lie. And I'll read from them. If you guys haven't internalized this, you need to memorize it. You need to get a copy of this letter. You need to be able to read from it. The Tennessee Department of Transportation reports that between 2018 and 2022, accidents along Northshore Corridor have increased 39%. According to the data, the majority of the accidents occurred during the daylight hours, 63.92%, in clear weather conditions, 71%, and along the roadway, not near an intersection, 83.51%. And he continues, Larson J. continues, he says, my own experience, he's been to this community, he says, my own experience traveling this area, along with the TDOT data, reinforces the perception, I think it's more than a perception, that large volumes of drivers are traveling along Northshore Drive at high rates of speed, and with the combination of a narrow roadway, it inevitably leads to increased accidents. His analysis supports this, as 32.99% of reported accidents are near rear-end collisions, which certainly can be attributed to the increased volume of traffic continuing to build in this area. So, your at-large commissioner, who is now running for mayor, acknowledges this problem. It's a legitimate concern. Some of you are asking, how did we get here? Okay, and that's the best question to get you started. Every new subdivision in Knox County must go through a process. This is the rezoning. It's the first step in the process. Concept plan will be next. Design plan review, final plat review, development plan review. At each one of those steps in the process, your elected officials have a duty to avoid the negative consequences and the negative impacts that come along with growth. And, you know, I'm speaking to the choir here, but Knox County has allowed increased population in your area without providing for the necessary infrastructure improvements that go along with it. And that's how you got here. That's why Northshore Drive is a dangerous road. And to add insult to injury, when your community raises concerns about road safety issues in the context of a new development coming along, what you often hear is that traffic study will be provided. Maybe that the rezoning is not the time to look at this. A traffic study is gonna come in one of those later steps in the process. However, you know, history has shown, the facts have shown, Larson J's letter shows, TDOT data shows, that traffic studies have failed to protect your community. If you had traffic studies that were legitimate, and people knew how to read them, and they followed them, and they were appropriate for the situation, you wouldn't have a dangerous road on North Shore Drive. We adopted traffic access and design criteria in 1995. The only subdivision on North Shore that had been approved at that time was Montgomery Cove. Okay, Montgomery Cove came along. We adopted these traffic impact study guidelines. Every new subdivision since Montgomery Cove has had a traffic study or a traffic impact letter. How, if you had all of this development with all of this oversight, and still resulted in still have your crash rates over the statewide average? And that's where you stand right now. At the last meeting, Planning Commission approved this. Mr. Snowden acknowledged that the crash rate on North Shore Drive between Choto and Concord was above the statewide average. And you know, Angela Russell sitting here, you know, we can't ignore the tragic consequences of the danger that you're facing on North Shore Drive anymore. In the last 2 years, we've had as many deaths on North Shore Drive, just on North Shore Drive. I heard just the other day that there was a new fatality on Harvey.
December 23rd.
So, you know, I'll say the names, Suzanne Russell and Jeanette Guzman. It's a painful reminder of the way that we need to change the way we look at growth and development in Knox County. So what can you do, right? The next question, what can you do? And I've got another example here, or saying, when you're in a hole, stop digging, right? When you're in a hole, stop digging. And what do? You do the next easiest thing to stop digging down into the hole. The next easiest thing to do to stop putting traffic on North Shore Drive is to disapprove this or deny this rezoning. If you deny this rezoning, you can be sure that the 2,000 cars that this subdivision will generate won't be on North Shore Drive. That's the only way to do it. The next easiest thing to do will be to deny the next rezoning that comes along, the next development plan that comes along, unless and until North Shore Drive is made safe. And so the way that you do that is you can't show up when the sign goes up in the yard. When this one gets denied, and I'm confident that we have a good chance of getting this one denied, you need to remain vigilant. You can't stop letting your commissioners know that you want to keep North Shore safe. And you know, you're asking, you have to personalize it. You have to ask, how did the main road through the community where I chose to raise my kids become dangerous? How did we let that happen as a community? It wasn't dangerous in 1995 when Montgomery Cove was developed. And it wasn't dangerous in 2018. Something has happened. There's been a lot of development. You've experienced it day to day. The traffic, the car accidents, can you or can't you leave your house at a certain time of day? Are you gonna have to, can you turn left out of your subdivision, or are you gonna have to turn right and make a U-turn? So, that's what you're dealing with. You gotta make it personal. The third thing that you might wanna do is call for a moratorium on development on the Choto Peninsula until you get the necessary road improvements. And those are the easy things. The road improvements, quite honestly, are gonna be difficult. I think Mr. Snowden, the engineering department, said that you were gonna need 90 million, was it $90 million?
90 million to do a 4-lane setup from roundabout to roundabout. And you told me at the Montgomery Cove meeting that that was coming. It ain't coming. That's 5 years worth of annual budget for the entire county. It ain't coming.
Yeah.
You're wrong.
And I will get to that.
I remember it.
So $90 million is a heavy lift for this county. You're not gonna get there next year. You're not gonna get there in 5 years. You may not get there in a decade.
That's 5 years worth of total annual.
Total capital budget for the county for roads. So virtually impossible unless you spend all the county money and raise taxes and get the road approved. But to say that we need a 4-lane road, between, Westland or where it is, and Choto, says that's sort of the nature of the problem that you have. And why have we not made incremental improvements along the way so that we can have growth in our neighborhoods, without getting to a breaking point? This is a breaking point, I think, for your community. Moratorium until crash rates drop below the statewide average. This is not a superlative for Choto. You are above the statewide average. It's not like saying your kids are above average, right? This is not where we're going. So how do we do it? Melissa said, can't do it alone. We need the community help. Make your voices heard. Each and every one of you reach out to your elected officials. For sure, John Schoonmaker, great guy. I know John, he will listen to you, and you need to let him know. I know that you can listen to your community and vote accordingly. There's nothing holding these people back. There's nothing holding your elected officials back, the county commission back from doing exactly what you want in this case. It's a rezoning, and they can vote with their constituency. Larson J, we've mentioned him. He's your at-large commissioner. Kim Frazier is your other at-large commissioner, and Lynn Jacobs is your county mayor. Ultimately, these people are setting priorities. They need to listen to the constituency. If you've got a problem, they have to listen to you. Let them know you're watching. Submit comments to the public forum. Sign up to speak at public forum on the 26th. Say we're going to be there. Together we can make a difference. And you can ensure that the safety and well-being of your community and your children is put above the next new subdivision in Choto. I want to say thanks and pass, I guess, off to back to Melissa.
Thank you, David.